Hi, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. I am so excited to give you a little walkthrough today of my newest set releasing this Thursday from Gina K Designs, Fill It With Flowers. And as you can see, it contains all kinds of containers and wraps for the A Year of Flowers set, the Stately Flowers series, really any flower sets that you have, but I included a few just so that you'll be ready to go as soon as you get this set. So Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Gotta be there for our release party. So today I'm going to be making this sample using this hydrangea and this hobnail milk glass vase. So I'm going to show you some different techniques for how to color this and how to soften those layers and add texture. But let me just show you just a few things in this set that I really love. So you've got some large scale containers here. You've got a teacup, a milk bottle, two different wraps, and this one is more like a tissue paper wrap, where as I'm envisioning this one to be more of kind of like a fabric type wrap, like burlap or linen. So these will be really fun to paper piece. Then I've also got this vase, which I'm going to be showing in the video today, and lots of different little two-step add-ons that you can put to the center of these, or maybe on the side of that cup or around the neck of that vase, like this raffia wrap, this bow, and then this tag, and then all kinds of little greetings that are going to go inside. You've also got some extra fillers. As much as I loved the baby's breath and the fern in my recent A Year of Flowers 3 set, I really wanted to add some more flowers just so that things that are not flowers that you can add to your floral arrangements just to really give them a lot more interest. So we've got this bold eucalyptus, which will be so fun, stamped in different colors. And then this is a lemon leaf branch, which I like so much, and I'm using it on today's card. So in addition to this set, for today's project, you're going to need a black ink pad for doing your stamping. So I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I have got the Gina K White Premium Pigment ink, and we are going to be rubbing this on our embossed layers, and it's just going to soften it a little bit. The markers that I'm using today, I've got the Spectrum Noir alcohol markers. So we've got the DG2 and CG2 for that lemon leaf branch, and then the CG3 and CG4 for our hydrangea leaves, the LV1, IB1, and IB2 for the petals, and then just the GG2 for adding shadows underneath the vase and then to all the texture on that. I've got a white gel pen that I'm going to be using on my tag, a couple acrylic blocks. So this one is about 2 inches by 3 inches, and that will handle any of the stamps in this set. Got some adhesive pearls and also some foam squares for popping up the layers. And then I've got the Gina K Pure Luxury White. So this layer is 5 inches by 2.5. Then we've got an Applemint base, and I've got the measurements for that one below. And then I've got some of the Bubblegum. This is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then this little scrap, this is 4 inches long. Doesn't really matter how wide it is, just because it's going to be tucked under that back layer. And then the embossing folders that I use today, I don't use these as often just because it's kind of hard to drag my Cuttlebug over here into the video, but I've got this Lifestyle Crafts Whimsy folder that I used on the blue layer, and the Kraft Cuttlebug Victoria that I used on the pink layer. So I really love these textured vases. Like here's a milk glass vase, but depending on how you color this, it could also look like a clear vase or a colored one, but I just love the texture on these, and so that's why I decided I really wanted to have texture on my mats, as well as picking up all of these little dots. You see that here in the centers of the flower, and so we're going to be accenting the pearls. But I want to soften these colors, but then also help you focus on the texture, and this is just perfect with the milk glass to give it kind of this milky quality. So let me go ahead and rub this on here just so that it has some time to dry, but you could also hit it with a heat gun. So after you do your embossing, I just use this with my Cuttlebug die cutting machine. I'm just going to rub this directly onto that texture. Isn't that pretty? So you just notice it's so much more. When I photograph embossed layers that are not colored with some kind of ink, it's kind of hard to see in the photo, although it is nice in real life. And then I just love how those little dots pop out just like it does on the vase. Now, if you want to go for a different look, remember you get a really different look when you use the deboss side. So this is like the negative. So if what you're wanting to accent more is the inside of these quatrefoils, then you can do that. And then obviously you're going to have a lot more white showing than on the other. So either side that you want. This is also always nice for just going around the edges of your mats, and it's going to make the inside of that really glow. You could also use the jelly bean green paper if you don't have the Applemint, but I was out of that. So, and I'll give you a few more tips about that in a second as well. Okay, where is the lid for this? Okay, so let's get started with our stamping, and we're going to do a little bit of masking today. Now, what you want to do anytime you've got some masking, you need to think about what's going to go in the front and stamp that first. So we're going to go first the vase, then the flower that's inside, and then finally those leaves in the background. So let's stamp our vase. I want to put this near the bottom, but give myself enough room to have a little shadow. And stamp this in the black. And then it's very easy to give this some shadowing. You're just going to do a few little ridges in between those little pearl-like bumps. So right in the middle there. And actually, let's go ahead and make our little mask for that, because I was going to do that on camera. So I've got a little post-it note here. You could also use some copy paper. And I love, if there's a edge that I have for a vase, I love doing that across the top of a sticky note, because then it works just perfectly. There's not a lot of, you know, you could use just the straight edge on that and it would work pretty well, but it does have some bumps there. So just to have that line up perfectly, and we're just going to pop that right on. Actually, let me go down just a little bit, because I think one of those leaves might hang a little bit lower. Now, if you want this to look like a clear vase, you don't need to do any masking at all, because you would see the stem through that. So that's kind of a nice, easy way to do that. And then the hydrangea. So I chose the hydrangea and the Gerbera daisy for this set because they're not an official flower of any one of the U.S. states. So it won't be appearing, neither of these will be appearing in the Stately Flowers line, but they're definitely two of my all-time favorite flowers. Just so pretty. And I love how hydrangeas look like they are watercolored, the way that their different colors blend together. Okay, so we've got that, and then when you remove that, you're not going to see it. Now let's go ahead, and I'm going to cover this up. And I don't have any sticky on this, but I can put this behind it, and then this will help hold it down while I stamp it. Okay, so let's do that leaf. I can't wait to show you what you can do with that eucalyptus though, and see what our design team members have for you. So if you want, you can just have that single stem, but I just thought this was so fun to show you how much this is going to add. And then I want one over here. Okay. And then we're going to remove those. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So I wanted these to be slightly different greens, just so that they would stand out a little bit and show that they're different branches. But you don't have to use as many greens if you don't want. So I'm going to use this DG2 first on the leaves in the back. So it's a little more muted, this green. Here. Here. And if you really want to get fussy about it, you know, you can cut out the middle of this, but I'm not worried about it. What you could also do is you could take a black pen and then just draw in that little edge of the leaf that would be appearing there. That's something else that you could do if you want. But I don't think anyone's going to really notice that. So again, I just didn't want to be that picky about it on this particular card. Then I'm going to take just a little bit of that CG2, and I'm going to put it down on the underside of these leaves, where they're folding over and where they're just behind those flowers. Okay, and then I really wanted these to pop, so I've got this nice bright springy green here. This looks really pretty with that Applemint. And then to shade this, I am going to take the CG4, which is much darker, and I'm just going to do some tip-to-tip coloring here to pull in that green. Actually want it a little darker than that, so I'm going to go ahead and lay down some of the color on here. So just put it right in there where you see all that shading in the illustration. And then along that vein, you can pull that out. And this little stem. And then let's just color that in a little bit to blend it. Okay, so for coloring the hydrangea, you've got ones that look more solid or more muted, more vibrant. I wanted to really do one that had a lot of the different colors on it, and so I like the ones that I've seen that have just a real pale kind of bluish green in the very center. So it might be hard to even see that I'm putting this on here, but it is going to make a difference in real life. And it is going to change the color slightly of those markers that you're about to layer on. Okay, then I'm going to go around the edge of that with this LV1, because there are some and they look like they just have a little outline. So you don't have to be that exact about making sure you're going around all 4 petals, but just want a little suggestion of that around each of these. So you're just dabbing on the color, kind of like watercoloring. This one's underneath. And then I'm going to take that turquoise, that IB2, and when you dab this over the purple, you're going to see it turning kind of more of a periwinkle shade. Really pretty. So I'm going to take this IB2, and I will be coloring this again for sure, because there's just so many different ways that I want to show it, just a lot of different looks for how you can color it and whether you want to spend more time or less time. This is definitely the quicker version, less blended, but also to show it in some of the different containers. I made another card and I just love how it looks in the teacup. Okay, so I used a little more blue on this one than I did on that. If you want to go back, you're really wanting to kind of focus more on that pink, to go with your pink layer, then just go back over it. See where now we're having that pop out again. And the middle stays light. Okay, so this is what's going to really bring this face to life. We've got this GG2 here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put just a little bit here at the top and pull that down, follow those lines in the illustration. And then the way that the vase is that I colored, so you can look up these milk glass or hobnail vases online, is they have these ridges in between, and so I'm just making just a little line there in between each of those. Put one there on either side, and then some down here at the base, and then just a shadow underneath, and I'm thinking about these leaves and flowers casting a shadow down here. Okay, then what I want to do, the final thing, and it might be hard to see in the video, but just to add just a little dab of that gray underneath those dots, and that really makes them look more dimensional. And you can see they're not exactly lined up on all the rows, they're not exactly the same size, so this is definitely hand drawn. And I kind of wanted to go for that look when I was drawing it. And then I'm going to put just a little bit more down here, so it's just a little darker so that shadow goes out. Okay, that's all the coloring I'm going to do. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention this little craft scrap that I'm going to use for stamping this tag here. So this goes across the milk bottle, but you can also put it across the wrap when you cut it out or onto the cup. But I just wanted to make a little tag. I'm going to stamp this on here, and then I'm going to add the word love. So I don't know who I'm going to send this card to yet, And then I'm going to take my white pen and I'm just going to go into the little dots here. I love being able to pull out a detail like that. And then we will cut that out with our little scissors. I'm not sure if I mentioned those, but so just a pair of scissors on hand. You could also use a lot of different shaped dies that would work on this to make the label even more impressive, but I just kind of wanted a small tag since I already had a bunch of layering on here with my other mats. So I'm giving it about 1/8 of an inch lip around. You could also cut it out just as a rectangle if you want, if that's easier for you. Okay, so now let's go ahead and, oh, I need my adhesive. Still have my crazy adhesive ruler here that I used a couple weeks ago. Thank you for all of your comments about, you know, loving to see me make it work. Yes, that's totally how I work. There's nothing glamorous going on over here. I should bring my cutter over one day to show you. It's been broken for like 6 years. The plastic ruler slides around every time, and I don't know why. I don't know why I can't just go get another one, but I haven't. Okay, so we're gonna layer that on there. And then, and this might be a little bit hard to stick since I have this wet ink on the back side. Yeah, I just need to press it down a little bit harder. It's not gonna stick for me right now. Probably gonna need to use a glue dot. Rats! That's what I get for trying to show you something extra. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to just pop up this layer then. No big deal. And I'm going to put one on the back of here. And then we'll pop up this too. So this is just going to be a little bit more layered than the original card. Okay, so let me take off the backing. So excited to make more videos with this set for you. It's just, I'm having so much fun with it. It's really hard to wait for the stamps after I sent it off. You're gonna love this whole release. Okay, so put this right about here. And again, the other thing that I wanted to say about all your colors, you know, if you don't have cardstock that's exactly matching, putting these different colors together, and then especially adding the white, you're not just noticing, you know, if you have a red ink and then maybe a red cardstock that doesn't exactly match. That bothers me since I'm really into the coordinating ink and the cardstocks. But the more colors that you add on, the less you will notice that, and especially if you can add some kind of coloring with sponging, whether that's a colored ink or this white ink. And then I'm just going to put this on right here. And then add those little pearls to the little centers of the quatrefoil. And I love how it's picking that up in the image. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will come to our party. It's going to be so much fun chatting with the team and Gina and seeing all the team's ideas for the newest sets. So please join us Thursday night at Stamp TV in our release party thread. We will already have, or we will still have these the thread going on if you're not able to come, so that you can see the samples later, and everything is going to be in the store at 7 o'clock Thursday night. Thank you for watching today. Please visit my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas using all of my stamp sets, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel. God bless.